record is almost 30 years old. It still sounds amazing. Okay, coming up in hour 2, which is basically now, we have a 20-minute interview with Mr. Martin L. Gore. We're going to play his brand new single, Mandrill, but before that, we're going to play one of the best remixes of Depeche from the 90s. This is Air's remix of Home.
Worldwide FM.
Martin, hello.
Hi, Ralph.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Excellent.
All things considered.
You're in LA now, right?
I actually live in Santa Barbara.
Wonderful.
I'm in California, yeah.
Excellent. I'm going to dive in, but actually, before we get into the new music, I wanted to mention the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, I think that everyone thought the same thing that I did, which is, this isn't the Eagles. These guys really like each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, the reaction has been, there was such a natural empathy between you. Did you get that feedback as well?
Yeah, I mean, we got very positive feedback from it. I thought, when I watched it, everybody else seemed to take it very seriously. We didn't really take it very seriously at all. But, you know, I think it worked in our favour that we didn't, and that we did seem to just enjoy the moment as much as you can on a Zoom call.
And was there a sense that were you pleased to have been recipients?
Yeah, obviously, you know, it's an honour. I'm not sure I don't know how much it means in Europe, to be honest. I mean, is it a big thing in England?
I mean, I know what you mean. It's more of a big deal in the States, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, over here they have a Hall of Fame for everything, and I think if you make the Hall of Fame, that's kind of like someone's like big ambition. Obviously, for us being brought up in England, you know, it didn't really mean as much to us. But obviously, we know that it's a great honour. So, you know, I was brought up on rock and roll. I discovered rock and roll through my mum's record collection. And so it's an honour to be in there with, you know, Elvis and Chuck Berry and all the people that I first listened to.
Excellent. Well, let's segue that into the main reason we're here, which is you're releasing a new song called Mandrill, ahead of an EP, which is called The Third Chimpanzee. Now, I know it's been inspired by a book, but it would be so much better if you explained it.
Well, yeah. So the first track that I worked on for this, you know, I worked on it before it had a title, really, and I re-synthesized my voice, and it came back sounding not quite human, and it was more. It just reminded me more of like a primate or something. So I decided to call it Howler because it sounded like a howl, and I know of howler monkeys, and that just gave me this idea that when I did the second track, that I should try and keep this resynthesis idea going through all the tracks. So that's something that I did. So they all have this an element that is a resynthesized vocal that sounds not quite human. So I decided to name them all after monkeys. And then I remembered reading I think it was in the 90s when it came out. At the time it was called The Rise and Fall of the Third Chimpanzee by Jared Diamond. And it just made sense because, you know, he was calling humans the third chimpanzee.
That book obviously struck a chord with you because you said you read it in the 90s and it's still inspiring the music. So what was it about the book that sort of struck you at the time?
Well, I mean, so all of the tracks are named after monkeys, and I just thought that it made sense that you know, being a human and being one of the third chimpanzees, it made sense to title the EP that. And for me, you know, without kind of like making it blatantly obvious, because there are no lyrics, I like the fact that it blurs the lines between, you know, monkeys and humans, because, you know, sometimes there doesn't seem to be we don't seem to evolve very far.
Aha.
And to blur the lines even more, when it came to the artwork, I decided, I just had this idea one night. I remembered that, hold on a minute, there are monkeys who actually paint. I wonder if I could find one to do the artwork. So I started Googling, and I found a sanctuary up in Canada, and they have a capuchin monkey there called Pockets Warhol. And so I reached out to the sanctuary, and they were into getting Pockets to do the artwork for me.
Right. So I see you've thought this through right the way through.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously that obviously came much later, when I was thinking about where the artwork should go for this.
And yeah, I saw today that the record's going to come out digitally on CD, and there's also going to be a vinyl with a limited edition artwork, I guess, which is the artwork, right?
Yeah. They'll all have the the CD will have the a version of the artwork, obviously.
But the vinyl comes with a print, right?
Oh, I didn't know that, does it?
That's what I read today. Anyway, since we were talking about humans, two of the things that you are excellent at, one is songwriting, and the other one is singing. And this EP, you're not singing on it at all. So the next question was, were you not tempted to sing here, or was that not the point of this release?
It wasn't really the point, and the primate-like sounds that are made on this record were me singing, but they were just re-synthesized. So, in a strange kind of way, I did sing a bit, but no lyrics.
I see.
But no, it's like the last MG release. There weren't any lyrics on that either.
Got it. Well, next question then, and I guess it sort of leads on from that one. I can only assume that you've used lockdown wisely. Has it been tough, or has lockdown meant that you've been focusing on your studio? I'm assuming you have a home studio which you can sort of run into when you're feeling creative.
Yeah, it's strange, to be honest, because you would think that it will be a time where you would be extremely creative, but I find that although I have, I've finished this and I've been working on another project with somebody, but it's not like I'm feeling overly creative. I really don't. I feel like like the years gone by, and I've done like little bits and pieces here and there, and I suppose the reason for that is that we're all kind of not really doing anything. Every day blurs into the next, and it's not exactly inspiring. I barely leave the house. I do have a studio at home, so I walk to the studio. But I don't think that's the most inspiring of situations.
Something just popped into my head, because I know that in the past I read that you play football. On the last show on Worldwide, we had Romy from the XX, who was championing female footballers and her role in that. And she said, the great thing is that when I go and play football, no one cares what songs I've written. Am I right in saying that you have a similar sort of passion for football, that you play sometimes?
I used to. I stopped playing. I mean, when I think I was probably 52 or something like that. And not for any. One reason was that I got clattered from behind and landed with my arms down in front of me, and I think I felt like I broke a rib. I never got that concerned, but it hurt for about 3 months before I got back to normal. And then, I just thought, what am I doing, really? I'm never going to win the Premier League, and I'm just going to get injured. So that was I made a conscious decision to stop at that point.
Right, you sort of semi-retired.
Yeah, I'm semi-retired. I could be persuaded to come out of retirement for a kick around, maybe.
I realised today that I first met you, and indeed Fletch and Dave, in 2001, which was when Exciter came out. It's 20 years old next year. Do you have any plans to commemorate the record in any way?
It's like planning anything at the moment is just a real impossibility. In theory, 2020 would have been the 40th anniversary of the band. it might have been nice to do something to commemorate that. And at the moment, the vaccine's looking very promising, but I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take for governments to roll that out. And I mean, for us to tour takes so much planning that it's silly to plan something when you don't know if it's even going to happen.
Right. Yes.
So it's very difficult to just to make concrete plans.
Hence, you're spending a lot of time at home at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I go running a few times a week, and apart from that, I go out very rarely.
Well, from going out very rarely, which is something that the dance music community is experiencing a lot at the moment. Just to finish up, we were going to play Ricardo Villalobos' remix of Sinner in Me, which was a huge Ibiza release a while back. But that's not the point. The point I wanted to ask, a few people have asked, and by the way, I got hit up by so many people in South America and Mexico today. So you have a huge, incredibly insatiable and loyal fan base who all want to know about everything. One of the questions which I wanted to know is, over the years, your remix catalogue has been exemplary. Is that the band, or is that the band and Daniel Miller working together? Like, I guess the question is, how over the years, when you've picked Shep Pettibone or Ricardo Villalobos or Kruder and Dorfmeister, is it like a round table scenario? Obviously, it'd be Zoom now, but how's it been in that case?
It's always a combination, really. I think that I think we've always tried to keep our finger on the pulse and know what's going on in electronic music. Even with this release, I gave Mute a bunch of suggestions for remixes. Then they came to me with a list, and between the two, we narrowed it down and then asked a few people, and that's kind of how it's always gone over the years. And
is there a favourite over the years that you've really, really sort of that you go back to for whatever reason? I seem to remember Fletch always talking about Just Can't Get Enough, but maybe you have a different one. Kruder and Dorfmeister just came back, for example. That reminded me about Useless, and then obviously Useless and Home had Kruder and Dorfmeister and Air, which was pretty amazing. I mean, again, they're timeless remixes. Anyway, I'm putting words into your mouth. Over to you.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know if I could pick one. I mean, we put out that remix album that had a lot of our favourites on, but that came out. Oh, when was that? Now that was a while ago now. So anything that's been done since then obviously wasn't considered because it hadn't been done. But yeah, a lot of our favourites were on that. That was one of the things that we always were good at as well. I think that we managed to find artists like Air, who, although they had a few releases out when they did that remix for us, they weren't the big band that they became. So we managed to find up and coming artists, really.
Awesome. So the release is coming out. The EP is coming out as a 5-track EP in January.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time. Good luck with the release, and we'll speak very soon.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
See you. Bye.